Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well whenever and wherever you are when you are hearing this recording. I'm starting this at 3:33 a.m. and I've had a lot of numbers come up today. 11, 44, 99, and now 333. And earlier I think I had something else come up. Oh, I can't remember. I think it was 55 or 555, one of the two. But I hope you're paying attention to your angel numbers and that you are able to look it up on the internet or just download an app, the Angel Numbers app. My favorite one is pink and purple and just is called Angel Numbers, but there's a lot of them called Angel Numbers. And they all have, the numbers 0 through 999 and what the numbers mean. A lot of people have seen 1111 for years and years and years. But I feel like it's signs from God, just like the things in the sky, the clouds in the sky, like I've been getting messages, a lot of messages in the sky. And today I got the letter J was in the sky. And then that one faded away and it was almost gone when another J appeared. So weird. I don't know if that's my twin flame's first name, begins with a J. I don't know. But J was in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's a letter J. It was like so clear. I was like, whoa. It's so strange. And I don't call Jesus Jesus. I thought about that because he's like my big brother and I get signs from him. But usually when I get a sign from Jesus, it's when the whole room smells like roses out of nowhere, especially when I don't have roses in the house. And I don't call him Jesus. I call him Yeshua, Brother Yeshua. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. Usually the last couple weeks, the sky has had an X and an O, like hugs and kisses. I mean, like every single day in the same exact spot in the sky. Like every day for like 2 or 3 weeks, it was like that. It was so freaky. And today I was like, I wonder if there's an X and an O. And then after the J's disappeared, there was like a lot of clouds that looked like they're about to form words, and then they would disappear. And I think if I would have looked for a little bit longer, I think that more words would have appeared. But it made me think of the high in the Amazon. There was not one cloud in the sky except 2 clouds side by side that literally said H-I, high. I was like, oh my God, God just told me hi. And I was reaching for my phone. And by the time I got my phone, it disappeared from the sky. And no one saw it but me. I was like, oh my God. It was so magical. One of those moments, just, there's nothing I could do. I told you guys about that before. But I found out today that I have 103 people now that are listening, which means we've added about 10 brand new regular listeners since last week. I wanted to say thank you and welcome aboard. And sometimes I repeat my stories because of all the new people coming in. Not because I'm old. Hopefully that's not the real. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I've been contemplating my life a lot the last day or two, and having a little bit of stress, but then things that I was normally stressed about today I just started to get that stress, and then I thought, well, I'm just tired of feeling that emotion, and did the mature thing and just, got through it really quick. And all right, well, kind of wore myself out feeling that fear or frustration or anger about something. I told you guys a few months ago about a guy who was in a professional capacity. We were working together, and he was supposed to realize he's in a professional situation, and he just started kind of, at first he was just kind of like, I like you, and at first he told me he had a girlfriend, then he had lied about it and said, no, I'm actually single, blah blah blah, and and he was going to help me with this big project. And I'm like, well, it's all over. As a special thank you, if all goes well, I will give you and your girlfriend a 1 week vacation for free in San Diego at my timeshare. And he was like, all right, I don't really have a girlfriend. How about if I come to visit you instead? And I was like, well, sure, yeah, if you come on down, if you want to see the country, I'll show you around, and we can have lunch or whatever. And he's like, but I like you. And, and he started doing that whole thing. And I was like, ugh, And it turns out he's a narcissist. He showed his hand really quick. So I was like, I'm so not interested. But at the same time, I was just like, I don't want the deal or the project to go badly. So I was just kind of not really going along with what he's saying. I was like, well, let's just focus on the project. Let's just focus on making money. Let's just do this. And that's it, for now. I'm not really looking right now for, because I know he's not my twin flame anyway. So I was just like, I'm not really, And then I finally he just kept getting worse and worse, and he'd call me at all hours, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, like every hour on the hour. I'm like, why do you keep calling me? I'm literally going to have to turn my phone off, which means now I don't have an alarm because of your harassment. You're starting to harass me. And so it just got worse and worse and worse. And I finally said, look, I don't want a relationship with you. After he knew me for like a whole 11 days, he started saying, well, we're family now. You're my queen. And, it's okay if you can't have children. We'll adopt. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, well, after we get married. And I'm like, I've known you a week and a half, dude. Like, what the hell? Like, what the actual hell? Like, it just started to really freak me out. And I finally just said, I don't want a relationship right now at all. I don't want a relationship with you specifically, and it's just like, oh my God. And he's just like, he's a good looking guy and he's a narcissist. So he thinks automatically that means every woman will just fall down at his feet. Why wouldn't they? Oh my God. I'm just like, dude, no, just no. And anyway, today he started harassing me again. And it was weird because I hadn't heard from him in like 2 or 3 weeks. And something he did really has really brought out some bad things. And I'm not going to go into the details. It's kind of a bad thing that he did. And it's something that's been putting me under a great deal of stress, like a huge amount of pressure and stress for like now 2.5 months. And like solid 2.5 months. Like it's like my PTSD has been up, and then with the riots this past, for like 11 days of being absolutely scared of that, so I've been like, I'm going through this like weird, like, stress. And today was brought up again, and I was already thinking about this thing and trying to work on a part of it again, when all of a sudden he called me 3 times in a row, and he wrote me 4 messages, which I did not even look at. The best way to handle getting rid of a narcissist from your life is to actually just be like, dude, that's it, cold turkey. Don't call them. Don't talk to them. Don't even read their messages. Don't even answer the phone. Just ignore all of it. Block them if you everything. So I just ignored it. I just was like, whatever, dude, whatever, And this other person in the company who's now working with me on the project is saying, oh, well, I wanted to let you know that I turned him into the company. I complained yesterday about the ways in which he broke the law, because he broke the law in 2 or 3 different ways, and that's why I couldn't work with him anymore. I was like, dude, I'm not interested in that. And the biggest way though was harassing me, which harassment is against the law. And while this guy was telling me, I don't feel good about turning him in, but it was the right thing to do. And so we were having a conversation about it. And this other guy's very professional, very awesome, totally on it. He's really a good person, high quality person, and not a narcissist, not trying to come on to me, not trying to force a relationship and make me feel uncomfortable. The other guy kept going, look, I'm not really comfortable with that right now. So, maybe at the end of 2 months we can have a conversation. But right now I'm not, I'm just like trying to put him off, It was like ridiculous. And anyway, this other guy's just, total professional. I was like, I feel really bad about it. And while we're having this conversation about it, this guy's ears must have been burning because he started harassing me again. And I'm like, oh my God. And I told him, I'm like, so while we've been talking in the last 5 minutes, he has called me 3 times and left 4 messages in 5 minutes. And this guy's like, oh my God, I could see what you mean. He is harassing you. I'm like, it's against the law. He could go to jail for up to 6 months. He would owe me money, and he would get deported from my country because I'm an American and he's not. Right? And so this guy's like, oh my God, I'm going to tell the company. I'm like, yeah, this guy just doesn't know how to take a hint when the hint is don't effing call me or I'm going to turn you into the police. And he keeps going again and again. I'm like, can you just please tell the company that I will call the police if he harasses me again, and I will, make sure he's deported and he won't be able to work for the company. And he's like, yeah, I'll tell him. It's like, I don't know what he's already going to probably lose his job over this. And he might lose his license for the project. He can't do this anymore, maybe. Hopefully not that, but it's like that. It's like what I don't get why people have to be so harassing, but today is the first day since this whole thing began that I didn't have that intense, overwhelming dread and fear take over my whole day. Before it would have taken over 3 or 4 days, where I'm just like ruminating on it. And today was the first time I'm like, well, it's being taken care of and I'm okay. And the company knows now because he is a massive liability, with what he's doing and with everything, And so he's, this other guy is just like, I see what you mean. He really is harassing. And he says that what you said wasn't true. And I'm like, look, I have all the text messages that prove everything. I've saved them in a file in case it ever came up, and it's coming up now. So if you want the entire file, it's about 5 or 6 pages long. Most of it of him where it says missed call, missed call, missed call, missed call, at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, Seriously, it was like so bad that it would probably be 6 months in jail. Like totally ridiculous. Oh, speaking of jail, apparently Cuba Gooding Jr., he's in trouble, apparently. He was groping women, going, instead of being a social butterfly, he's being a barfly, going from bar to bar and grabbing women in various body parts. And 14 women have come forward now in a class action against him, I guess. So I didn't read the details. I didn't really want to. And also speaking of jail, Felicity Huffman, she started her 2 weeks in jail. I think she was sentenced to either 14 or 15 days in jail, and it's just like kind of a slap on the wrist, but she pleaded guilty to the college scandal, the admissions scandal, where she was trying to get her daughter's test, her SAT scores corrected, so she would definitely get into school. And she had donated $10,000 bribe or $30,000 bribe. totally unfair. I mean, this whole white privilege thing, it's so irritating, and the whole, I'm rich and famous on top of it. Like, it's all just a bunch of BS, but at least she took it responsibility. And then this other woman who is in the TV show When Calls the Heart, which, why is her name escaping me? And she was like one of my favorite characters. And it's like, oh my God, she might be going down for a lot longer than 2 weeks, and who knows, we'll find out. But I don't know what's up with Hollywood, dude. Like, there's so much of this stuff is like coming out, and people are like losing their job. They're never going to work in that town again. So many people are getting in trouble for the weirdest things. I mean, but the Cuba Gooding Jr. thing, I always thought of him as he's probably a nice guy, and it was like weird. And my kid and I were talking about Red Fox today. We watched an episode of Sanford and Son. It's one of our favorite shows, and it's just so hilarious. And we even watched Three's Company today. And I was like, what's funny is, you watch Sanford and Son, and Red Fox just seems like kind of a feisty old man, but when you hear his stand-up, it's like, oh my God, this guy is so dirty. And even today in the show, the guy who played his son, Demond Wilson, played Lamont Sanford, and he was like, I'm going to take my girl over to Disneyland. It's romantic. And he's like, how is Disneyland romantic, Dad? And he's like, well, I'm talking about the Disneyland Motel, of course. And he's like, you're a dirty old man, Pops. And he said, and I will be until I'm a dead man. And it's funny because his stand-up comedy was so dirty. Like, he was just, he would make a sailor blush, right? And I was telling my son about how Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor came along after him to do their stand-up, and they were swearing, and they were, talking about topics that were really very adult topics. And I go, it's so funny because these guys, you'd think they're so raunchy that they might have been caught up in some of these scandals. And yet, when you look at people like Bill Cosby, his stuff was so mild. He didn't swear. He seemed like the sweetest, kindest, most gentlest, amazing guy. But in reality, he turned out to be a frickin' rapist, and now he's in prison. It's crazy, right? It's like you never know, like, what a celebrity's like behind closed doors, right? So it's weird that all this stuff is really coming out, I don't know. It's very, very weird to me. Just, it's not always the case that people are the opposite of what they appear. I mean, some people are what they are, and they're just straight ahead, but it's weird to me. Everyone thought Bill Cosby was the sweetest guy in the world, and he's like stone cold rapist. Like, he's a mofo, man. And then all these other guys, I don't think they ever got in trouble. I'm not sure. Richard Pryor, I think he was in jail for doing cocaine or being caught with some coke or something at some point. But Red Fox, though, I told you guys my dad met him, and he only knew him like at the barber shop. They only met up there every now and again, and he's like, yeah, he's like one of the sweetest people in the world. He's dirty though. He's always telling jokes, and oh my God, he's got a foul mouth on him, but he was a hell of a nice guy. Like, generous and kind, and he always tipped the barber extra. I think he said like his haircut or whatever is like $10 and he paid $20, and this is back in the 70s, so it was ridiculously, that was like a lot of money back then. I remember when people were all up in arms and freaking out over gas prices in California when it went up to 79 cents a gallon, God forbid. It's $4.89 in San Francisco right now. I remember a couple years back, it was up to $7. But, and then people are freaking out about it here. I mean, that's one of those things where people just freak out about, no matter where you are, who you are, no matter what class you're in. If you're in, the poverty class, middle class, the high class, everyone freaks out about it. gasoline. It's like, oh my God, don't raise that. That's the one thing. Because it doesn't matter who you are. You need it for whatever. Even if you take the bus, you can't afford more bus price, That's that one thing you feel like, okay, you need that to get back and forth to work or whatever. It's just ridiculous. But no matter who you are, gas should not go up. But I remember all that back and I remember also in the 70s, like you had to prove, I don't even know what it was based on, but if your driver's license ended with an odd number or an even number, or it was your house address or something, or your zip code, I don't know what it was. But I remember that we could only get gas like 2 days a week or something, like if it was an odd day or an even day, then you can go. It was like so ridiculous. Like the whole gas rationing. Do you guys remember that in the days of Jimmy Carter? Or do you remember your parents or grandparents talking about it? I was a little kid back then and it was like so big of a deal. But the good news is here in Ecuador, everything is finally getting back to normal. Today is 13 days after all of the crisis and the crap hit the fan. Everything's getting back to normal. My friend, he started working. He's like been back working 2 days in a row now, tomorrow will be his second day back working. He worked all day long. He's like, oh my God, he was like gone from 6 in the morning till 5 in the evening. And he was like, I'm so tired. And I was like, oh, I bet. He's like, I have so much work to catch up on, and I'm contacting all these people because I had to stop working for 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. Oh my God, such a pain. It like ruined everybody's like month, right? October is just like literally shot to hell. I mean, for me, the good news is, I would have already spent $600 on just, taxis and buses and maybe eating out or just doing stuff, just random day-to-day stuff. And because we were like locked in the house for 12 days, we didn't really spend any money. And then when I did go out, I spent $180 at the store because $60 was for that steamer thing to fix my food. But, I didn't even get the meals delivered. I stopped that because I got poisoned from that at the beginning of the month. And ridiculously, everything was so ridiculous. Everything was just like, everything has changed and transformed already in 15 days. Have you guys noticed that a lot of things are transforming? In its massive, rapid transformation, massive growth, emotional, spiritual growth. Just boom, just like that. Just like that. And like today with me, not even like getting a little upset for about maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Whereas a month ago, I would have been upset for about 4 days, at the most, but maybe 2 to 3 to 4. And now I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. And I've been thinking about things in a different way. And I don't know exactly why that is. Like, I've always been an out-of-the-box thinker, as you guys can tell, but even for me, I'm getting out of that box. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I think it's since I opened the 12th chakra, and since that happened, and I'm like, all right. And when I say I like to be connected to my 12 chakras and I do some breathing exercises, all of a sudden I'm like 100% cool. I'm like, good. Everything is good. Even if the outer things are not good, all of my inner things are good. And I hope this is happening for you guys. And if it's not, I want you to do some breathing exercises. Keep looking at the clouds. Keep looking for the numbers, signs. Keep looking. Because it's all there, My higher guidance says that we are at 99 in the Ascension Symptom Scale still. But I feel like there's more of an almost like a floaty feeling. Like we're kind of floating along kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like up until this point, at least for me, it feels like life has been, I'm in the middle of a very deep river. I'm up to my neck in the water, and I'm trying to run as fast as I can against the current, which is really fast. And I'm barely getting anywhere. Like maybe I'm able once a year to go about 2 or 3 inches forward. And that's how for 51 years my life has felt. Like I am getting nowhere fast in most of the ways of my life. You know, having my wonderful children, that's not what I'm talking about. You know, I love my kids, and thank God I was able to do that. And, you know, I've been able to be there for them both, like, this entire time. You know, like, I didn't freak out and leave and not be a mom anymore. You know, that was never a question. I never would have done that. But, you know, some women do that. It's weird. Like, they just, nope, can't handle it, not a mom, bye, you know. It's very rare, and it's weird when that happens. I don't see how a woman could do that to her children. And my mom gave me away. You know, so apparently it's not genetic. You know, she put me up for adoption. I mean, she didn't abandon me, but even though the emotions I had were kind of the same. But it's crazy stuff. Like, I don't know. It's like, at least in that one way, I was cool. And I've gotten a lot of degrees and certifications. I've been able to get educated, but it was always very hard. Like, just, oh my God. It's like pulling teeth to get through some of my classes, to get through the years. You know, I think because my health dragged me back quite a bit. I mean, I don't know exactly if it's just karma, if I just picked to have a bunch of crap go wrong physically so that I could turn to God. And I think that's maybe why I picked it. Everyone's going to reject me and I'm going to be very sick. What the hell was I thinking? But, you know, I've spiritually grown like by leaps and bounds though. So, hey, there's that. I'm going to have to come up with the episode where we go over all the life themes, because that's really important. It might be a 2 or 3 parter though, because it's pretty intense. I've read the book twice. I'm going to have to go read it. It's on my Kindle. It's a Sylvia Browne book about the life themes. It's pretty intense, actually. And then there's one of the life themes is Mystic Traveler, and I'm sure I'm a mystic traveler. I've lived on other planets. I'm living on other planets right now in other dimensions. It's pretty crazy, you know, like, because even though you're still, there's other dimensions. Stuff is so crazy. I know it sounds insane, but it's weird. It's stuff that I started to become aware of it, and I'm like, whoa. Am I finally, like, have I finally lost it? Am I finally just, you know, gone over the deep end, you know? And then all of a sudden all these people start talking about the same thing. I'm like, oh, thank God. Everyone's waking up to these realities, these multiple realities. Pretty much all independent of each other, but all at the same time. So, I mean, if you're not aware of these realities, if you're living in other timelines or other dimensions or, you know, other realities, basically, if you're not aware of it yet, consciously, you will be soon. You know, if you're brand new waking up to spirituality, just wait. It gets wilder and wilder, Alice. As you fall down that rabbit hole, it just gets deeper and deeper. It's so crazy. But it's fun. It gets more fun. And I feel like the more we go up, and once we get anchored into the 5th dimension fully, I have a feeling things are going to get a lot better and a lot wilder. You know, especially when there's not that opposition of the me versus you, or us versus them, or, you know, dark versus light, evil versus good. You know, or good versus evil. Once we get past the duality and polarity issues, and we all get along, I can't even imagine what we're going to create together as a world and how wonderful it's going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty incredible. Sylvia Browne had a vision of the future, and she knew she wasn't going to be in it, but she saw it anyway. She saw that people were going to start building these communities, spiritual communities, and people that were like-minded would live together and, like each have their own house, but like in little villages. And I think that's a cool idea. And she said that there was buildings she saw that were like almost like crystal or glass like pyramids, but not just that, but geometric shapes and forms. The buildings weren't going to look typical, not like rectangular boxes like pretty much everyone lives in, square and rectangular shaped boxes. It's going to be really strange and different. And I don't know where in the world she was seeing in this vision, where she was seeing it, but it would be funny if she was seeing like into another dimension or another planet or something. But I've thought about these descriptions quite a bit, and I've been thinking about the Venezuelan situation. There's so many Venezuelans here that are, families, and they're just running away from a super bad situation. They're seeking asylum. And it's really hard because when you seek asylum, aside from what the government's doing, and the president and whatever the country itself is very, very, very beautiful. Go look on Google Images and look at some pictures of Venezuela. I had no idea that Americans would get shot on sight if they enter into the country. I did not know for years that was true. Up until like 3 years ago, I had no idea that was absolutely, as Americans, we're not allowed to go there at all. But I had no idea, but I always wanted to go. I always wanted to go to Caracas, and I had a couple friends there for a while, and I would talk to them over the internet, and I'm like, I'm going to come to your country someday. I want to go to Colombia, and then I'm going to go over to Venezuela. And when I got to Colombia, I was like, hey, Venezuela's right there. And I talked to a Canadian. He goes, oh, well, I'm Canadian and we're allowed there. And I've been living there for months. And everything, when you can get food, usually the shelves are empty, but when you can get food, it's super cheap. And that's not true now. It's like super expensive. But he was like, he's like, Canadian money goes like so far. He was like living there for like $100 a month and drinking all the time, doing drugs. He was just like, my lifestyle's ridiculous. Like I'm like rich there, and I'm spending like $150 a month. And that was like 3 years ago. And that was the first and only conversation I had with the guy, because I think, he was in Medellin to do more coke or get more coke or something. Anyway, he spent the rest of the week coked up as hell, so hyper that you couldn't understand a word he was saying, and he ran around everywhere in his underwear. It was just like, my kids are like, what the hell is wrong with him? I go, I don't know. He was normal on the first day. Remember we went out to Subway together? He was like lovely, and now all of a sudden he's just this insane person. And we were like laughing about it, like, this guy is crazy. It wasn't until a few days later I was like, oh, wait, yeah. And then I saw him actually do coke, and I'm like, oh, that's what that was. My kids are like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? And I'm like, he's on drugs. And like, ew. I'm like, I know. It was crazy. And I couldn't believe it. Like, what's a Canadian doing in Venezuela? And so I got more and more interested in it. And so I started looking into it. And then I started going to Venezuelan restaurants. That's the next best thing, right? Meet Venezuelanos, eat the food, talk about the country. And here in Cuenca, there's one restaurant, and they have all these lovely pictures of this place. And it's incredible. Oh my God. It's such a beautiful land, and it's incredible. It's a paradise. It's a paradise. And part of the country is in the Caribbean Sea. And then part of it, I think, is in the Atlantic Ocean. It's like, depends on what angle you're looking at. But when people seek asylum, what happens is, once they're granted asylum in a country, they can never, ever, ever, ever return to their own country ever again. They could go anywhere in the whole wide world, but they have their sponsor country that takes care of them. And I have a friend who is from Lebanon, and he had to seek asylum. And when I met him in Guatemala, and he was like, well, I've been in Guatemala for years, but his main country is Germany. That's where he sought asylum. And he lived there for years, and the country of Germany was giving him a stipend. Now, I don't know if all countries that grant asylum give a stipend for living, but for him in his situation, that's what he got. It was like $800 a month. It wasn't a lot, and that's why he had to move from Germany, because it wasn't enough to live there for sure. And so he was in Guatemala and living, really well on that money. But he was just like, I miss my Lebanon so much. Like, that's like my home and my one true place I felt 100% whole, And I heard him, he had to go because of some things that happened with Hezbollah, which I'm not going to get into, but it was a bad thing. And, they followed him to Saudi Arabia when he had work there, and it was the whole thing. But that's how I learned about asylum. He told me how that works, and it blew my mind. I had no idea. And so for the Venezuelanos who super love their country like that, and then they have to come here, and when they seek asylum, I mean, that must just be like carving out a piece of your heart and throwing it away. Must be how it feels. Like, it's such a heavy, like in Spanish, there's a word, they call it a pesado. And pesado means weight or heaviness, but it's, there's something about that word when it's used in Spanish. It's like, it's like one of those things where you're just like, oh my God. Like, I'm so sorry for you right now. It's like when someone says, yeah, it's muy pesado. And it means like muy weight, like very weight. It doesn't make sense in English, but in Spanish it makes sense. And so I've been thinking about it, like, hey, what if we could take the tiny house movement that's going on in the United States right now and apply that and like buy like little tiny bits of land, like 10 acres here. It's like $15,000, $20,000. And put these teeny tiny houses, that's big enough for families or whatever. And I've been thinking about like, aircrete homes, the guy who does the aircrete. It's like, you guys have to look this up. Aircrete is insanely amazing. Like, it's, this is weird. It's like cement mixed with dish soap and something else. And you can make these extremely durable hard shells. Like you blow up like a balloon, and then you put this on top, and then it dries, and that's like a house. And it's just like a shell. And he made these things that look like frickin' igloos, but they're made literally out of concrete, but it's very, very thin. But the way he did his formula in Thailand, and this is when he first started and discovered it, and he built a machine that you can use to make this stuff, and he made it so strong and durable, and yet the walls are just, not that thick. But he built a staircase, and he was able to walk up the staircase on this material and stand on his own roof. I mean, this stuff is like wild. It's like, what? But other people have not been able to duplicate it. I think they weren't making the formula right, or maybe it's different in different climates with different temperatures. But if you get it right and you make a floor out of it and you make your walls out of this material, which like a house will cost you $1,000 to make, a big house. You don't have to make a small house. You can make, bigger houses. Like you can make a swimming pool with this stuff, and it cannot be penetrated by mold. It cannot be penetrated by insects. It's just like extremely durable. and extremely cheap to build. And so I've been thinking about this for the last few days, like, man, if I could somehow find a way, like start an organization, and the organization would own the land, or maybe the government would have something, I don't know. I've been really thinking about it. Like, how can we house all these people that are just, they're seeking asylum, they're sad, they're just like, they're families, and like during these riots, that could not have been comfortable for the people that don't actually have a place to live, and there's, outside of the United Nations, there's a lot of people, like hundreds of people have set up camp, and they've been living there for months because they don't know what else the hell to do. In Quito, the situation's worse. And a lot of people keep traveling and go on down to Peru, and they're probably seeking asylum in places like Chile and Argentina, where it's more expensive to live, but there's also more opportunity. And the government of Chile is really cool, because if you have an idea that would be an amazing business, and as long as you have a business plan to expand around the world and make your business an international one, you can go and apply with the government. If they approve of your idea, they'll give you $50,000 American to create your business and set it up in Chile. And then they'll help you. I think they have like consultants or whatever. And then you start developing around the world. But as long as you say it began in Chile, it's like, okay. It's like kind of a cool idea, right? It's kind of a neat thing. So I wonder if there's Venezuelans going down there. There might be. But a lot of the countries are starting to freak out because there's so many people suddenly extra, and it's putting a strain on the economy. But the Venezuelans have to leave. They cannot stay. My friends had their, first their businesses were taken away, then their land was taken away, but first their crops and their animals were taken away, and then their land. And then they were told they couldn't practice their businesses or they'd go to jail. And they were like, well, that's it, buddy, we're out. And they left. I have a lot of friends that were down there, they were up there that moved to Peru, and they were like, yeah, here I am making, just a couple dollars an hour as a waiter, and I used to make $45,000 American as a professor in a university. So, yeah, life like totally sucks, with what happened with us. So, I've been thinking about like how could, how my son and I have been talking for days about how can we make a difference in this country. We really want to, and how could we model it on things that have been done already in the United States and in other places. So I don't know. Those are the things I'm thinking about. So I've been like expanding my mind in ways that I've always been wondering about the Venezuelans, but I've been thinking about even more stuff now. So I don't know. Maybe when you free up a lot of your emotional stuff that you don't need anymore, and you don't have the reactions you used to, I think that's when you free up your mind to think of other things, basically. So this is really insane. The Schumann Resonance news from both heartmath.org and disclosurenews.it. Both of those sites are down, and you can't get any information. On the Disclosure News, they said, well, the equipment's not on. It's not working. It's just a big black chunk in the chart where we can't get any information. They said that it's extremely low in the places that do, that they've called other stations, near them. They said, it's like still like maybe around 13 hertz, hardly anything. And HeartMath just said, sorry, data's not available today. So I wonder what's going on with that. How is suddenly no one's allowed to somehow, everyone's being blocked from measuring the Schumann resonance? I thought that was bizarre. And 99 on Ascension Symptom Scale. So, hey. Anyway, tonight I'm going to do a tarot card reading for the collective, but it's just going to be a general reading. I don't have a theme for tonight. I asked my higher guidance, and I was told just do a general reading. we'll see where we're at collectively together. But lesson 127 in A Course in Miracles is, there is no love but God's. There is no love but God's. So that's it. That's a thought for today. Let's see if there's a part. There was something here. It's such a good lesson, and it's really deep, and let me see, there's 12 paragraphs to it. So you might want to read the whole thing. It's lesson 127 at acim.org. I'm going to read you the part you're supposed to think about during the day. I bless you, brother, with the love of God, which I would share with you. For I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's, and yours, and mine, and everyone's. Because it's just one love, baby. One love, one heart. Okay, I can't sing, but you get the picture. So that's it. That's a lesson. There is no love but God's. And it talks about how love's meaning lies in the oneness. No law the world obeys can help you grasp love's meaning. What the world believes was made to hide love's meaning and to keep it dark and secret. There is not one principle the world upholds but violates the truth of what love is and what you are as well. So seek not within the world to find yourself. Love is not found in the darkness and in death. It's perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and the ears that hear love's voice. Today we practice making free your mind of all the laws you think you must obey, of all the limits under which you live, and all the changes that you think are a part of human destiny. Today we take the largest single step this course requests in your advance towards its established goal. So that was just one paragraph in the middle of the lesson. And, well, basically, there is no love but God's. And God is love, and you're made from God, so what are you? Right? All right, well, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back after these two messages, I'm going to just read for the collective whole. We'll probably have Archangel Michael pull the cards out for us today. We're going to just do tarot card reading, and that's it. It's for Tarot Tuesday. So that's it. I'll be right back after this. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you. Well, I hope you guys liked that. I held my phone out the window so you could hear the green birds across the street. They are absolutely precious. I love them so much. Sometimes they squawk at each other very angrily, and even that's adorable. Like they all like go around in a circle around the tree, screaming at each other, flying in a circle like 3 times. Then they settle down and love each other again. It's so cute. So, all right, I've shuffled the cards. I'm already connected to Prime Creator. Yes. Gain a yes on that. Muscle testing says yes. Connected to Divine Mother. Yes. Okay. I'd like to do a general reading for the collective whole. I'd like to call upon Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, please, I'd like to be connected with you. Am I connected with you? Will you pull the cards out as Prime Creator tells them to you? The answer is yes. Muscle testing says yes. All right, so where are we at in general? This is just general, so I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling the cards in a different way. So just pull out, where are we at? Oh, goodness. Immediately the cards are active. Is this the answer? The answer is no. All right, like 20 cards went flying out right away. Love it when the cards get active right away. Okay, go ahead and pull. So I thought you guys would like that moment of zen in the background. You can still hear the birds, but my window's shut, so it's not as loud. We had a light, gentle rain. The streets are just that perfect, misty. Is this the first one? Yes. Where are we at right now? Ooh. I need to get my cheaters. I had an itch in my eye while I was doing the first part of the show. And I started to scratch my eye a little bit, and I don't know what happened, but now my eye is like beet red. Usually I need Visine when I'm smoking weed, but now it wasn't that. Okay, Page of Pentacles. Cool. Well, that's where we're at right now, Page of Pentacles. All right, what is our opportunity, or I guess our challenge? What crosses us right now, Prime Creator? Please let Archangel Michael pull that one out. So anyway, I wanted you guys to hear those birds. I get to hear them every morning, and since I'm doing the show so late, at least I got to record them for you. So I knew there was a reason why. I just kept feeling, don't do it, divine timing and all that, and it wasn't my anxiety. Is this what crosses us today? 8 of Swords. Why has this been coming up in almost every reading? The last few readings I did. Okay, what is below us as a collective whole? Is this the answer? Wow. Evaluation. 7 of Swords. Ooh. Why are we getting so many swords? Are these correct? Muscle testing says yes. What is directly behind us as a collective whole? It's crazy. Swords. Wow. Whoa. Any of these cards? No. 10 cards flew out that time. About. Alright, what is directly behind us that we've already left behind, God? Have Archangel Michael pull that card right out. Okay, did you guys hear that? Cards went flying into the phone. Yay! Alright. Can you tell us, is it one of these? The answer is no. 2 flew out that time. But aren't those little birds are so cute? They have the cutest little voices. And if I took you to the front part of my apartment, it would be Fred starting to coo, trying to wake up Ethel. She never wakes up until much later. And he gets up and he kind of flies around and comes back and hangs out with her. He's a morning person, she's not. With the pigeons, you know, in the front part. They're coo people. Is this what's behind us? The answer is yes. 3 of Wands. All right. Virtue, that's what we've left behind is virtue. Probably not what that means exactly. Has number 33 on it. 422 came up a little bit ago. 22 again. So, okay, what is above us? That's the card we're pulling out now. Is this the card for that? Wow. Boom, just like that. Thank you, Archangel Michael. The moon is just above us. Interesting. I might have to channel Prime Creator on some of these. All right. What is just in front of us as a collective whole in the next week? What is in front of us as a collective whole in the next week? It's weird. My eyes swell up, and then the membrane that's just over the surface of the eye. It's like I don't know how to explain it. This used to happen to me a lot when I was very, very little. We'd go to people's houses with cats. My parents knew I was allergic to cats, and this happened to my eyes every time, and I was like, by the time we'd leave, my eyes would be so swollen, they were almost swollen shut. And yet we keep going back to these people's homes. And of course, if there's a cat there, I'm going to have to pick it up, I'm going to have to love it, and I'm going to have to rub it all over my face and kiss it a million times. Whether it's going to kill me or not, because I love animals so much. So, is this what's in front of us? The answer is yes. Oh my God, it's sort of so hard to see. Oh, it's judgment. Yay, we're all gonna die. Just kidding. It's not what it means. What the hell? Wait a minute. I gotta look at this under the light. Oh, okay. Okay, it's an Incan warrior blowing a horn. Like a conch shell. In very low level lighting conditions, this card looked like he was kissing the severed head of a llama. I'm like, what the hell? I started to really panic. I'm like, wait, you sure this is what's our future? Okay, no, he's blowing a conch shell. Oh my God. I still haven't gotten my light fixed because the electrodes or something in this room, in my whole apartment, the electrodes that they use for these lights, just, I guess they don't manufacture them anymore. And I don't want to complain. There's been too much going on, so I haven't even called the landlord about it yet. All right, God, how do we generally feel about ourselves as a collective whole right now? That's the next one. Archangel Michael, please do the honors. 3 cards just flew out. Ooh, that one flew right across all of it. Is this the one? Ooh, we all think of ourselves as, well, the Caballero Constancia, the constant cowboy, King of Pentacles. That's nice. How do people see us, the unawakened ones? How do they see the awakening ones? How do the others see us? As the collective whole. This is for everybody, but everyone who would be listening to this are the awakening ones, right? All right, go ahead, Archangel Michael. Go ahead and take that one out. How do people see us? Is that it? Boom. Archangel Michael, you're so fast. Hogar Feliz. La Familia. That means happy home, the family. Ace of Cups. Baby, that's so awesome. That is a really beautiful card, too. Card 49 has a Virgo symbol on it, of course, because that is home. So many people are comfortable with me, I think. I somehow remind people of home. I mom people too much, too. Not as much as I used to. When I was younger, everyone called me mom as a joke. I loved it, though. For me, it's like a badge of honor, though. All right. In the next 3 months, what is our hopes and or fears Or our opportunities in the next 3 months. We could maybe just call it what instead of fears, we could call what's our hopes or opportunities in the next 3 months, God. Go ahead, Archangel Michael, you could take that card out. I love how, you're shuffling them and some cards just, fall. And then when the card comes out, it, gently glides down. It's so strange. It's, totally different energy when the card comes out. All right, a bunch of cards just flew out. That's not the one. Those aren't the ones. Okay. Oops. Oh, a bunch of cards flew out and the tower was on top. No. I don't want that card. Okay. Lucha. Great. That means fight. You've got to fight for your right to party. 2 5 of Wands. You know what? This card came up in my mind right when I was falling asleep last night. It has a 5 on it, so this is actually the 5 of Wands. I should probably, where it says 2, I should just cross that off. Why would they put 2 5 of Wands? It's actually the 5 of Wands. So, okay, all right. And that is related to, where were we here? We had a Wands over here somewhere. Right. What's in our past is the 3 of Wands. All right, so in the next 6 months, what is our final outcome? Ooh. Is it when the answer is no? Muscle testing says no to the 2 cards that flew out before I even asked the question. All right. More and more cards go out. Okay. What is in the next 6 months? What is our outcome in 6 months for the collective whole? Where will we all be at in 6 months from now? It should be putting us in about March. Oh, I'm sorry, April. Ooh, is this the answer? Answer is yes. Ooh, the Hermit, baby. Oh, that's a nice card. Has a Virgo symbol on it. And Mercury, baby. Which is the ruler of Gemini and Virgo. The Hermit. Cool. This is nice. Oh, now I'm having allergies. Oh, my goodness. All right. I was cleaning my bathroom earlier, and so bleach and Lysol and, all that. But I don't think I touched my eye. But my eye is just it's insanely swollen and red right now. It's like the color of really raw, fresh hamburger meat. It's so gross. And it was like a weird memory. I looked in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, this just happened in my eyes when I was, both of my eyes would be practically swollen shut. I never wanted to stay home. I still wanted to go see the kitties. I had to take syrup with, I don't even know what in it. I had to take syrup, but this is before inhalers. I had to take all this syrup. I had to take an allergy pill, Sudafed. I was on so much medicine as a kid. Oh my God. I might have to stop recording and go and get some, like a Benadryl or something. All right. And the first card is the Page of Pentacles, and that's where we're at right now. And it says oportunidad, opportunity in Spanish here, which is Sinchi in Incan, Sinchi. Has a Capricorn on it, which symbolizes not only money but business, and a Virgo sign. What's a Virgo? Mercury Virgo. Virgo sign. Yod-He Wah-He. Right on it. Yod-He Wah-He. Name of God. Jehovah is what some people call that. Yod-He Wah-He. Jehovah. So yeah, all right. I'm just looking at this card. Opportunity. All right. I'm going to ask God. God, can you tell me if this card is for the Page of Pentacles, our current situation as a collective whole? You are dancing where you stand. You are able to see a lot more past the illusions of this world than before. You're able to recover over shocks and hurts quicker because you are all starting to see the illusion that is the matrix of this world. You're starting to see higher ways to make money, and different forms of communication will lead to greater opportunities, greater dialogue with more people, and this dialogue is going to contain a lot more love. So the opportunities that are coming forth at this time are going to be loftier and more spiritual in nature than you ever considered before. All right, so he showed me an example. Forgive my allergies, my goodness. So he's showing me an example, like if, for example, if you're going to open up a clothing store, you would now maybe pick clothing that is not made with slave labor or made cheaply to make a quick buck. You would actually be picking clothes that would be maybe like all natural organic cotton or hemp or something that would be like a material that won't hurt people, or made with by people that had a living wage given to them and wouldn't be made in a sweatshop by children, for example. So that was kind of like an example. So if you were going to sell like vitamins, you wouldn't just sell the cheapest non-organic crap from China that might have lead in it. You would sell stuff that's like high quality, organic. It might be a little bit more expensive, but people are starting to appreciate and awaken to higher quality things because they know that their lives are worth more, like, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but whatever it is that you decide to do, it doesn't mean you're going to have a store or whatever, but whatever it is that you decide to do in your life, if you have any opportunities come up, you're always going to pick the thing that's going to be better for the people around you, for their higher good, your higher good, their higher good. The good of all is going to be more of your focus. So this is also a page of Pentacles. It's like someone's coming to give you a message about business or money or opportunity, or if you're an entrepreneur, or if you have a career change or a job promotion, something coming up, you're going to get a message about it soon. I'm going to go through Galaxy Tarot today to get greater insight. Oh my God. Oh, this allergy is suddenly out of nowhere. I haven't had an allergy like this in a while. Maybe it's time to dust the room. Maybe that's what's going on. Page of Pentacles. These are cups, these are swords. Are the pentacles here? Yes. There we go. Nope. There we go. Page of Pentacles. Alright. Alright, this is a youthful, dependable, practical person. He's willing to work hard and gain new knowledge and skills. Often he's a student, a loyal friend who will give you useful advice. This should indicate, or could indicate, a time that you need to pay attention to your body, the earth, and to nature. There could be a message in the physical world for you. Now, the words of the Page of Pentacles, and when I say that it's a person, it could be you or somebody else. All the cards that are like Page, Knight, King, Queen, they could represent you or someone you know or someone you're about to meet. All right. Practical, cautious student, new job or project. Oh, okay. So we might be all contemplating new projects. Weird, I was saying that in the first half of the show then. New investments and new studies. Yeah, I've been studying something new too. That's so cool. And I have been making new investments. Very, very interesting. So that's cool. As a collective whole, we might be going through this stuff. All right. Cool. And now the second card, what crosses us, what is our biggest challenge and or opportunity right now, is the Eight of Swords, dissolution. You know, I'm feeling like this one is like dissolution of our delusions, right? That's like an energy I'm getting from it before even asking. But this is our biggest opportunity right now. All right. What the Galaxy Tarot says about this is helpless thoughts, limiting beliefs, victim mentality, excuses, inner critic. The Eight of Swords is a card of feeling trapped or limited. So that's what's crossing us. So we have all this brand new stuff leaping out of our own boxes of where we think we should be or ought to be or however other people thought of us. But at the same time, we're limiting ourselves. Our thoughts have been helpless. You know, we have to like break free of all this, right? So it's a card of feeling trapped or limited. When this card shows up, you're probably thinking that you have no viable options available. You might feel weak by your circumstance in life or others' opinions of you. It's quite likely that the limitations you feel are self-imposed. You are imprisoned by your own thinking more than anything. How you use your mind is your choice. You can use your thoughts to keep you trapped, or you can use them to cut through your limitations. Ask yourself what you get out of remaining stuck, and what could you gain if you were to move forward. Often all that's needed to get unstuck is the courage to think in a new way. All right, so God, do you have anything to say about this? The answer is yes, with muscle testing. What do you have to say about what's crossing us right now? He's saying basically you have to cut the crap. This is a dissolution of the delusions that you've been facing, well, basically your whole life. You've been trapped by your beliefs that you gained from parents, relatives, neighbors, siblings, friends, anyone who said you cannot do it. It's almost like they put a prison around you full of strings, but strings are very easy to cut. They're strings. You could easily move them. But you've been like feeling like you hold yourself back with, you know, every time someone says something, it's like, he's like showing me like yarn. Like we're in a prison made of yarn. It's such a weird image, but he's giving this to me. He's like showing me like it's like yellow yarn. And I don't know why the yellow. Why the yellow, God? Because some people might... Oh, what the hell? He's like saying, well, some people might see the color yellow and think, ew, it's a color of pee, gross. And some people see the color yellow and say, oh, it's bright and sunny like the sunshine, and it's positive and wonderful, right? And he's showing me it's all that it depends on your focus, right? Some people see yellow and they think butter, and some people think flowers. Like everything that is yellow could be thought of as positive or negative, depends on what you focus on and what you think about. So, like he says, just like the color brown, you could think of dirt, or you could think of chocolate, right? So those are two things, like, you know, it just depends on where your focus is at, right? You know, like if you're staring at the ground, you could just go, ugh, I'm never going to look up because it's just the ground. Ugh, what else could there be? You know, well, if you want to keep looking at the ground, you're just going to see dirt. But if you start digging the dirt, you might find gold or jewels. Or maybe you just turn your head upward and see the sky with the writing in it. You know, might be your name written in the clouds. If you don't look up, you're never going to know. But so he's showing me, it's like any prison you're in, it's easily broken. It's easily gotten out of. It's like yarn. If you're trapped inside of a prison made of yarn, I'm sure you could pretty much bust free, right? Probably with your bare hands even. And so all of the thinking, we're getting rid of all of the thinking from our past, basically. Is there anything else? Okay, no. Now, what is below us is evaluation, the 7 of Swords. So I'm going to read that one first. I'm doing things a little bit different tonight, just because I feel contrary. Doing this very late, so I was feeling contrary earlier. All right, so strategy, mental tests, deception, gathering information, and breaking agreements. That's what has been, that's our current, that's where we're at, basically. And, breaking agreements, that's riots, right? The government says they're going to do something, they don't do it, boom, riot. Broken agreements, right? Deception, mental tests, strategy, gathering info. This is a card about doing what serves your own ends, even if the means are deceptive or manipulative. I'm thinking that this, for the collective whole, is not that suddenly that's what we are. I feel like other people have done that around us. So it says when this card comes up, it could be that you've literally stolen something from another, or someone has stolen from you. See, that's what I think this is more. Our government's being betraying of us. It could be that you're sneaking around behind someone's back, or someone's not being upfront with you. You could be stealing time for yourself, playing hooky, in order to get nookie. I'm just kidding, doesn't say that. Playing hooky in order to be alone with your thoughts or to avoid confrontation. Using clever mind tricks to get what you want is indicated by the 7 of Swords. Manipulation of a situation to get our way is called for. But there's a warning to be mindful of your actions and how they impact those involved. Research is indicated by this card also, collecting ideas and others for your own work. Be careful of plagiarism and check your citations carefully. Finally, the card could indicate that we're plagued by guilt over something we've done or what we're thinking of doing. If this is the case, look for a more honorable way to achieve what you want. There may be a time to correct the situation. All right, so God, will you explain what is below us and our foundation is this? This does not mean that you all are manipulators. This is not at all why this card came up. This is a correct card, though, yes. I'm getting muscle testing, yes. It's because we're having to break free from the delusions that those who are supposed to protect and serve us don't always. We're breaking free of the illusion that the governments are here to protect the people. We think that they're here to supply us with medicine in hospitals when in fact a lot of times they're experimenting on the people. That's kind of the energy I'm getting from this. So anything else? That's pretty much it. We're just breaking free from the government stuff, basically. So it's like, not that we're being manipulative, but we had been manipulated and we bought into the story. Now we're getting away from it. Now we're just ripping up the book and walking away. Woo, this next card has a 33 on it. The 3 of Wands. Virtue. I don't know why it says virtud, because virtue is in Spanish is virtua. So I don't know, maybe it means something else. Has a sun symbol and an Aries on it. This is what is directly behind us. So I'm going to look it up and read what it means first. Launching long-term plans, foresight, things set in motion. When this card appears, a decision's been made and you're making your first optimistic step towards your goals. You set things in motion, there's no turning back now. You know what you need to do and you have the confidence to do it. You have the ability to lead and a vision that can inspire. Forgiveness of yourselves and of each other may be required in order to let go of your past. You have a bright future ahead of you. It is an ideal time to let go of past hurts. The card could indicate foreign travel. Coming together with others and negotiating or trading could also be implied. 3 of Wands suggests equality and cooperation in such endeavors. Ultimately, when this card appears, growth is certain. Very, very nice. All right. So, God, I'd like to ask, please, what does this card mean for the collective whole from your perspective, the Three of Wands? You have all been blessed with a lot of ideas and ways to move forward towards your future, towards achieving your goals. This isn't something that you're leaving behind, but something that happened in the recent past. But what you are leaving behind are the old ideas that no longer serve you, and all the things that kept you from being in an optimistic way. You've let go, and you've gathered more optimism and more energy to move in a forward momentum in your lives, and that's what's indicated by this card. Anything else? No. Okay. Luna, la luna, the moon, is what is above us, which is usually stands for like subconscious mind, whatever is there. Let's see here. I'm looking for it. Okay, here we go. The moon in the Galaxy Tarot stands for the unconscious, shadow self, confusion, dreams, intuition. The moon is a card of darkness, illusion, and the unconscious. Time to pay attention to dreams and intuitions. What do your deepest feelings tell you about your current situation? What are you most afraid of right now? Sometimes our most profound growth is found in facing our deepest fears. Maybe you're hiding something from yourself or others. Someone might be hiding something from you, contributing to the feeling of confusion and maybe even fear if you're feeling it. The moon advises us to go within to seek better understanding before taking action on something. It might be wise to keep some things hidden for now. This also represents natural cycles, such as the cycles of the moon. We just came through the full moon in Aries, right? Also, this could mean menstruation or changing of the seasons, which, again, we are just moving into autumn in the northern hemisphere, and August, not moving into August here, damn it, moving into summertime here in the Andes. We only have summer and winter. We're moving into summer now. All right, so, God, is there anything you want to add to what the moon means? He says yes. So what does this mean? A lot of you are having really intense and profound dreams, which is helping you to bust out of that prison that we talked about earlier. The dreams are helping you see through illusions that you need to let go of. Is there anything else? No, that's what, so that's, he is saying that it's coming from your higher selves. Your higher guidance is giving you these dreams and helping you to reorder your subconscious mind in order to move forward into the fifth dimension. Anything else? No. Okay. Cool. I like how it's like related to the Ascension when I get a message directly from Divine. The next card is the Judgment. It's like I have to wade through the Spanish, the ancient Incan, and German on these cards. It has a symbol of Pluto. It is a planet, damn it. Shin. That's a three-headed snake in Hebrew. It's not what it means, but the letter itself looks like a three-headed snake turning its head towards you, like looking back at you. It's weird. Has number 300 on it, 31, and a Scorpio symbol. It's a very different card. Judgment. Okay. So, there's not an angel in this one, I don't think. There's supposed to be, but these are very cool and strange cards. Alright. Alrighty. Judgment in this Galaxy Tarot says, rite of passage, maturing, reviewing, and transition. Ooh, in the next week. That's what we're going through. Drastic change, release, and review. Your current phase of life is coming to an end. Ooh, I was kidding when I said we're all going to die. Now it's time to look objectively to what has come before. What ways did you succeed? Where did you fail? What big lessons have you learned? Life can't stay as it is. Change is unavoidable. You will benefit now by being accountable for your choices and your behavior. Be honest with yourself. Tune into your higher calling to learn where to go next. Pay attention to the big ideas you have now. They are not just impossible dreams. Well, okay. Very cool. All right. Okay, so, guys, is there anything you want to add to that? You're saying it's not? Okay, the world is not coming to an end. You can all take a collective deep breath. Whew, let that idea go real quick. You're at a point in which you are now separated from your former life. Spiritually speaking, you can look back objectively and evaluate everything. Really? In the next week that's going to happen? Okay, he says we're going to start anchoring into the fifth dimension in the next week. Like fully, like we're there, we've arrived. Oh my God, I'm so excited, really. Woo, thank God. Okay, so we're not like going to just die or something, so don't worry. All right, anything else you want to add to that? Answer is no. Now the next one is the Knight of Pentacles. Spelled wrong on the card. It's spelled like the Kite of Pentacles. How do we see ourselves? Galaxy Tarot says, loyal, dependable, practical, hardworking, yeah baby, cautious attention to detail. This card could represent a person you know or will encounter, or some aspect of yourself that's present or to call upon now, obviously. The Knight of Pentacles is a cautious, slow-moving, dependable person. He's careful about everything he does, sometimes gets so caught up in the details that progress gets halted. But the progress he does make is sturdy and long-lasting. Sturdy and long-lasting. Yeah, baby. So I've been watching Friends a lot lately. Joey Tribbiani's on my mind. He always says that, yeah, baby. He is a loyal and reliable friend. He may sometimes be boring or stubborn, but he gives well thought out, practical advice. He can be controlling and may value principles and rules over all else. He values comfort and security and loves luxury. He's able to take what he's learned from academic studies and past experiences and use it in very practical ways. And this is a description of how we have all kind of been seeing ourselves. So probably hardworking, loyal, dependable. That sounds reasonable enough to me. Must sound reasonable enough to you, right? Hopefully. So there you go. I'm going to ask higher guidance now. Is there anything you want to add to this? Answer is yes. Here we go. Okay. So how do we see ourselves? He says exactly how you are. Reliable, dependable, all those words that you read earlier. It's pretty much how you all are. I would like to add that you should view yourselves as whole and present, made from love, therefore you are love. I would have you see yourselves as knights in shining armor, if you will, regardless of your gender. You are all powerful, strong individuals. You chose to be here on earth at this time, and what a time it is. You're loyal to your own causes, whether it's the Ascension or feminism or fighting sexism or justice in the workplace or fairness for people that have less than you do. He's giving me an energy that he's really proud of all of you. All of us. Cool. Anything else? No. Cool. Moving right along, we have the Ace of Cups, which is how other people tend to see us. And that is happy home and the family. Pretty cool card, actually. Ace of Cups. I love this because it's the hand of God coming out of the ethers, surrounded by all kinds of symbols of, basically yods, which is another symbol of the open hand of God. New feelings, new love, awakening intuition, flowing emotions, and imagination. This is how other people see us as we're awakening. The people notice that. When this card appears, look for new opportunities for love, friendship, or spiritual growth. So I think that we're starting to awaken the collective whole. This is an opportunity for intimacy and pleasure. It could be an invitation to a social gathering, romantic getaway, yeah baby, marriage, or letter from a dear friend, or a chance to indulge yourself with that which makes you feel truly happy. Yay, red licorice. Okay, kidding. We kind of. You may receive a heartfelt gift. This is a chance to make a fresh start emotionally. It may indicate a need to let your feelings flow freely, whether this is expressing your love for another or letting your tears out. The Ace of Cups can indicate a conception, a pregnancy, or a birth. You know what? If this is for the collective whole, oh, that just gave me a massive insight. I gotta tell you guys in a minute. The Ace of Cups can also indicate opening of intuition, a chance to tune into your higher self. When this card appears, pay attention to your dreams and be receptive to the subtle signs around you. Shoot. All right, so yeah, conception, pregnancy, birth. God, I think I know where you're going with this one. I'm going to have you tell us. So I'm going to touch the card and, if somebody say, answer yes. Okay, go ahead and tell us what this is. He says, yes, your intuition is right. The way that people see you, all of you, that are you who are the awakening ones and the people who have been asleep, they're all starting to wake up now, and it's going to be very rapid. And they're going to know that you are waking up. And yes, pregnancy, conception, and birth are indicated by this card, but in these days, it is a metaphor. Whew. And the metaphor is you are giving birth to a new world. You are conceiving of the fifth dimension. And that is the biggest thing indicated by this card, where you're all headed, and the fact that you are helping other people that are awakening, and in many ways are like spiritual babies, and you are helping them to grow rapidly. And just like the 100th monkey effect, the 100th human effect has been happening, and it is going to be extremely rapid, which is why a lot of the riots and demonstrations had to take place last week. It's awakening more and more people, basically. And so how people are seeing us now, instead of as complete nuts, crazy people, they're now seeing us as, oh, wow, they've got a lot of insight, and they're very spiritual, and they're awakening. Well, it's about time. I had a dream that I was in bed with a friend of mine and not doing, anything other than we were holding hands and we fell asleep talking, and we're sleeping with our foreheads together, like we had been meditating together. And I woke up and he was still asleep in my dream. And this is not someone I've ever even met in person, so it's kind of weird. But it felt like a very deep and profound spiritual meaning to this dream. And I was kind of freaked out because I can't get pregnant. I had my tubes tied 15 years ago. So I can't. It's just like, it's like impossible. Plus, I haven't had my period in 2 years, so there's no way in hell I'm getting pregnant unless it's a divine act of God, It's literally going to be a holy miracle if that ever happened. But in my dream, I couldn't roll over because my stomach was so big. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with my stomach? And my friend woke up. He's like, you okay? Like, yeah, what the hell's wrong with my stomach? I think I need a diuretic. I have to have 2 hands to lift my stomach. It's so huge. And I'm like, this is weird. Why is my stomach so big? And he's like, oh, you're so silly. Like, so silly. Of course you're pregnant, right? And I looked like I was 9 months pregnant, ready to drop a baby, or 2 or 3. And the stomach was enormous. And then I realized it was like I really was pregnant. And I'm like, that's insane. Obviously I can't be pregnant. But, oh, okay, this makes sense. I think this person is my ascension partner, the person that we're going to anchor into the new world with each other. Because which means my twin isn't going to come to me in the next week when this all happens. Obviously, I'm not going to be pregnant. My stomach's not going to be huge. Thank you, God. Knock on wood real quick. Because, oh my God, right? And I can't get 9 months pregnant in the next 7 days, thank God. So, I mean, that was such a bizarre dream. Now I understand we're birthing a new world. God, it really throws me for a loop, and my subconscious mind suddenly comes up with random metaphors when I'm normally very practical and straightforward. All right, the 5 of Wands is our hopes, fears, and opportunities, and also in the next 3 months. So, let's see here. 5 of Wands. Okay, want to make sure. Galaxy Tarot says competition, brainstorming, problems to solve, and conflict. Expect a little bit of a conflict. Possibly it could be negative, like arguments, clashing of personalities, petty hassles, but maybe not. It says it could also represent games, contests, and friendly competition, teamwork, and relationships. Now, there might be differing of opinions and might be inevitable, but the differences should be treasured. It's from this that new ideas and interesting compromises emerge. Be wary of stubbornly holding on to an idea for the sake of the idea. Tremendous power could be had when we join our energy with that of others instead of fighting them. Remember what team you're on. This card could indicate petty hassles and annoyances. If this is the case, endeavor to not make more of your problems than they actually are. So basically, don't make mountains out of molehills. Molehill. That's like really hard to say something. All right. Very cool. So, all right, there's that. So, God, you want to add something to that? Okay. Are you saying the words the competition? He's saying, okay, the competition here is that the newly awakened ones might feel a little bit of jealousy because they feel behind because of what's happening in the next 3 months. And that might be a little bit about the people who are awakening now. Might be our fears that that's going to happen. So we need to now, at this point in time, let go of our fears about that. Just love them. Just say, look, I'm just here to help you. You know, just because someone's walking ahead on the sidewalk ahead of you doesn't mean that they're better than you. It just means that they got an earlier start than you by a few seconds. That's all it means. So we need to honor, love, and take care and protect those that are brand new awakening because they're not completely aware of what's going on, you know, and they might be a little bit afraid and they might be a little bit combative, you know, like when you are a little bit very, very sleepy, you just wake up fresh from bread. No, you don't wake up from bread unless you're sleeping on bread, and that's just weird. No, when you wake up fresh from bed and you're like rubbing your eyes and you're just like so tired and someone comes in with like this intellectual conversation, you're like, oh no. It might be like that kind of situation, you know. We want to give them all the information and they're freaking out because oh my God, brand new awakening. And we have all this information, and they're like, not ready to hear it. So we have to be patient, and they need to realize that we're here to love them through it and help them. And it's our job to let them feel comfortable, make them feel comfortable with us. Having the knowledge and being a little bit ahead on the road, that's it. No one's better than anyone else. We're all the same. We're just at different points on the road, that's all. Some people leave late, some people leave early, but we all get there, same place, right? Finally, our very last card is the Hermit, one of my favorite cards. Solitude, introspection, perspective, wisdom, and guidance. This is what we have to look forward in the next 6 months. This is the outcome of all of this. The Hermit indicates a need or desire to withdraw from the world. He's a wise old man. He has learned much about himself and the world through introspection and meditation. When you see this card in a reading, your soul may be craving a retreat in order to replenish and restore. By taking space and solitude now, you'll be ready to engage with and guide others when they most need you later on. The answers you seek will be found within you, not in any book or on any website. The Hermit may also be advising you to seek the guidance of a wise counselor or mentor. So there it is. Boom. Very awesome. All right. Anything else you want to add? Yeah, God's saying yes. So our final outcome is the Hermit. You become the lights of the world. You stand upon the mountain, almost like the mountain in the clouds, Olympus, or whatever metaphor you want to come up with that one, and you shine your light quietly and gently and sweetly. That is the outcome, because everyone is on their way to the mountain or to Mecca, or again, whatever metaphor you have for this in your mind. You may use that now. We're helping other people to awake, basically, and we're bringing them to their ultimate, most profound, deep parts of their spirituality. And we're all going to be together collectively as a whole, because we all will become the way showers. And inspiration, by the way, for the rest of the universe. Is there anything else you want to add? No. Well, there you have it. That is our Tuesday, our Tarot Tuesday for the collective whole. Even though I'm getting this out on Wednesday. The divine timing, man. It's all about the divine timing. I had to spend extra time with my kid tonight. He wasn't feeling very good. I haven't been feeling good emotionally for a couple days, on and off. There's been some massive and sweeping changes spiritually for everybody. Not just us, but everybody. And we're just kind of, we're now the aftermath and the emotional and mental and the psyche cleanup from these riots. We're better though. Everything's good. Everything's getting back to normal. Thank you, God. What God told us, it's going to be a week and a half, and that's as long as it lasted exactly. I'm so glad my intuition is open. My third eye is open enough where I could see it and hear it and feel it and know it. I'm so grateful for it. And every time I'm right, I'm not the one that's right. I'm channeling the information correctly. I'm still shocked as hell when it happens. I'm like, yay, that's cool. And I can't say that I got it right, because that's for my ego, because it's not me getting anything right. It's just me hearing the words correctly or getting the energies right. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to. But it's taken me literally this whole lifetime to get to this level of intuition. So I don't know, maybe my intuition will help your intuition to wake up. So I'm hoping that's the case. We're all getting better and better and better. And again, no one is better than anyone else. We're all collectively getting better together as a whole. There is no love but God's. You are love, and that's it. All right, guys. that's all I gotta say about that. Remember, please, to send in your ghost stories for Metaphysical Ghost Speak coming up. Ooh, really, really soon, like in 15 days. Please send in your Christmas miracles, Hanukkah, or Diwali miracles in anything to do with Santa Claus. Anytime you've ever seen Santa Claus or weird, eerie, spooky things. Maybe you saw a mall Santa Claus and you just thought, yeah, he's just an actor. And then maybe something happened and gave you a little bit of pause, like, wait a minute. Maybe you pet reindeer and you thought they were just deer someone drew spots on or something. And wait a minute, something happened and you're like, wait a minute. There was an energy or a feeling or something magic in the air. If you've ever felt the magic of the holidays, even if you're not religious at all, I want to hear about that too. I don't know. We're now at 55 minutes and that's why I started beeping. So I had to pause it and restart it, but it's an annoying new feature, isn't it? All right. That's all I can say about all that. Write me, metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com with your stories. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being on this ascension journey for me, with me, for me. Well, it's for me because I'm you, so it's for you as well. We're all one. I'm glad we're all together. Hashtag soul family. Hashtag soul tribe. Thank you for everything. Oh, I just looked and said 55, 44. Here we go again at the double numbers. The double master numbers. I mean, that's probably the 10th time in the past 12 hours that's happened to me. Oh, I should have said 11 hours. Oh, I missed that opportunity. Darn it. Oh, but it is now 5:33. Here we go again with a 3-3. See, it's all divine timing. I'm sorry it's this late, but hey, it had to be this way. This is the only time I've actually seen signs that this time it had to be this way. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, that's it for now. I will be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming, just like always. I don't even know what it's going to be. God tells me at the last minute, usually. Okay, I asked God at the last minute. He would tell me 3 weeks in advance if I asked him. But, okay, he's saying it's going to be a channeling of some sort. I don't know who yet. We'll figure it out tomorrow. I love you guys. I wish I could give you all a big, big hug and kiss your cheek and tell you in person how much I love you. So if you close your eyes and put your hand over your heart and think about that, I'm hugging you. And I'm happy that you're listening. And I'm just glad, man. Thank you. Thank you for telling other people about the show and putting this in your Facebook groups and your Instagram and your Twitter feeds. I've noticed a massive jump in numbers lately. I mean, it took me forever just to get 40 regular listeners. Now we have 103 just in the past 6 weeks. It's jumped from 40 to 103. Like, yeah. And it took me like 8 months to get 40 people, right? So thank you guys. I'm like thrilled about this. I'm glad that this is growing and everything's going to work out for me so that I can keep bringing you this show. Hopefully, maybe for the rest of my life. Next few years at least. So yay. Anyway, that's it. I'm leaving. I'll be back tomorrow though. Signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, guys. Peace out. Do you ever wish you could look into the next chapter in your book of life and see what's coming next? What does the universe have in store for you? I can help you with that. I will give you a Celtic cross reading, which is 10 cards, or you can ask me 3 questions, and I use 3 cards per question. So that's 9 cards. Or I can channel your higher guidance, or maybe God directly for you. Maybe you want to talk to your dear departed Aunt Edna, because maybe you have a few questions and she was the smartest person you knew. If your deceased relatives are available, or your ascended masters, I can channel them for you personally. Let me have 1 hour to show you the future in your next chapter of your book of life. Readings are $75, and it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to complete. And for this price, you will also be hooked up to the healing grid around the planet for free, which means yours truly, me, I will be giving you Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. All you have to do is let me know. metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com, and we will explore your future together.